Hello, welcome to my channel. We are back after a short break. We intend filming after Pranesh came from his trip, but unfortunately we had a very bad storm and it blew off our ceiling, the part of the sitting room, dining room and the kitchen, and thereafter we had workers working in for almost 10 days fixing up the damage. And now we are back just in time for Diwali. So I'm going to show you a very quick recipe. I am going to make serve with nuts and also add my serve into my chevda. My ingredients for my serve is 250 grams of chana flour, which is also gram flour. I have half a teaspoon of jeera, 1 teaspoon of fine salt, 1 tablespoon of ghee, and half a cup of warm water. I'm going to add in these ingredients. I'm going to use up my hands to mix all this together and let the ghee form into breadcrumbs. I mixed in my ghee together. So slowly I'm going to add in my warm water to it. Thereafter I'm going to make a dough which is not too stiff. My dough is slightly stiff and I have some dry chana flour, so I'm going to add in another 2 tablespoons of my warm water. So that was half a cup and 2 tablespoons. My dough is done and you had to adjust your water accordingly to the dough looking like this. I'm going to put this dough into a zip tight plastic, and thereafter I'm going to let it rest for 15 minutes. 15 minutes has passed and I'm using a murkoo machine. Firstly, before putting my dough into the murkoo machine, I had to oil the parts of the machine so the dough doesn't stick to it. And also I am using this disc which is going to make some thick serve. Today we are showing you all a quick serve recipe, but when time to come we will show you all how we make murkoo using the same machine. This is how I will assemble my machine. First the disc will go and then the bottom of which it holds the disc. We have to tighten this. Then using half of this dough, I'm going to push it in through the machine. And I will press it firmly into the machine so there will be no spare gaps. Thereafter, I will screw in the top of the machine. And now I'm ready to heat up my oil for the frying. I have my stove on moderate heat and my oil has heated up, and we had to use a little extra oil for the frying and a deep frying pan. This is the only deep frying pan that I have. I have a karai, but it doesn't sit well on the stove. Now I'm ready to turn out the serve. And you must always have your oil very hot and be very careful how you do this. So if you think that is enough, you can take a scissors and just release the dough to the oil. This serve fries very quickly, so you have to be quick to keep turning the serve. You will know exactly when to take it out is when your oil stops bubbling. This is looking nice and brown, and as you can see my oil stopped bubbling, so it's ready to take out of the oil. And thereafter I'll continue with the rest of the dough. I will allow this to drip on my paper towel in the tray that I have. This is my last batch of the 250 gram of chana flour, but if you want you can make more. And this is how much it came out from the 250, but it's a little less because I saw Pranesh munching away while it's getting fried.
And that was offcuts.
If you want some extra flavor to this, while you are doing, you can use a little sprinkle of lemon juice, or you can even use some paprika or some pure chili powder. But the only difference, the chili powder will give you a different color, a darker shade. Now we are ready to make our 7 nuts and our chevda. Yeah, I've got 250 gram of nuts that I roasted, and thereafter I added in a tablespoon of oil while roasting, and then when after roasting, when it cooled down, I added a teaspoon of fine salt to it and a sprinkle of paprika. To this bowl, I'm going to add in my serve, which I'll just break gently. I will add in another handful. And then add in my nuts. So here's my 7 nuts. Now I'm ready to assemble my chevda. This is a slightly different version of the normal chevda that I made earlier on. Here I have my cornflakes that I roasted out, and while roasting I added a teaspoon of soap to roast together, and thereafter when taken off the oven, while it was hot, I sprinkled a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and I also used a teaspoon of pure chili powder to it. This forms our base for our chevda. Thereafter also roasted Rice Krispie, and I'm going to use some lovely raisins and my roasted nuts and my serve, and the secret ingredient is adding Mexican chili flavor chips to my chevda. You can also add any other flavor of chips, the spring onions or even the hot flavor. The choice is yours. I'm going to mix my cornflakes that have the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to add it to the bowl. Add in just a handful of raisins. I'm just going to add in 2 spoons and use the rest for the extra that I have. So I'm just going to pick up broken ones to complete my chevda. To this you can also fry in some curry leaf, but without using the oil. Just sprinkle the roasted curry leaf to it. It will give a great flavor. Now I'm going to just add in a handful of my chips. Just give it a quick crunch so it's not too big. And then mix this up. I managed to make 5 liters of chevda and 1.5 liters of savory nuts in a simple recipe. Happy Diwali to all my viewers that celebrate. Wishing you lots of love and light, and may you all enjoy and have a safe Diwali, and also wishing you all a very happy new year. Here is some of my spread of my Diwali eats, which is the savory nuts and some lovely biscuits and sweetmeats, and also my chevda. And also tomorrow morning I am going to fry out my spring rolls and samosas and some lovely vedas and bhajias and my puri pata. They say no matter how much of a sweet dish you have, you always need that little salt to balance it out. Thank you all very much for watching and enjoy.